Hi students, once again you're welcome to another study session on our Buzz 102 class, Introduction to Business 2. At the beginning of this course, we looked and discussed the production function. We also discussed the marketing function as well as the finance function. The course also covered the human resource management function and customer service function. During the last session, we looked at the different rules of government in relation to businesses. This time around, we'll be looking at the problems of Nigerian businesses. That is, the problems bedeviling businesses in Nigeria. During our last study session, you were exposed to and you learned how to define government and also how to enumerate or highlight and explain the different rules of government in business. During this session, we'll introduce it by saying that there is rarely any society across the globe that is not experiencing some forms of problems, although these problems come in different dimensions and proportions. These problems are predominant or are common in developing economies or developing countries or third world countries like Nigeria. Some of these problems, as we all know, impact significantly on the establishment, the survival, the growth, and the development of businesses in most of these countries, especially the small and medium scale enterprises. Thus, this session is designed to highlight and discuss some of these problems. The learning outcomes. What do we intend to achieve at the end of this study session? You should be able to itemize and explain some problems bedeviling businesses in Nigeria. Now, let us look at some problems that face or that are bedeviling businesses in Nigeria. The debt or lack, as well as obsolete infrastructure, the lack of requisite managerial skills and knowledge, inconsistent government policies, high insecurity and other crimes, competition, lack of access to relevant information and data, corruption, lack of trust, pride, and impatience. These are some of the problems bedeviling businesses in Nigeria. We'll be discussing each one of them. The first one we'll be looking at is the debt and obsolete nature of infrastructure in developing economies like Nigeria. As we all know, all forms of businesses are dependent on such basic infrastructure like good road network, as well as other communication networks, power, that's electricity, water supply, and so on for survival, growth, and expansion. But most unfortunately, most of these infrastructure are not available or are in very terrible state in our country. We all know the power supply we experience in Nigeria is so epileptic. So there's rarely power. So most businesses would have to source and provide their own energy or their own power. The same thing with other basic infrastructure. And so the obsolete or the outdated nature of this infrastructure is a major issue facing the establishment as well as the growth and development of businesses. Another major issue bedeviling businesses in Nigeria is a lack of requisite managerial skills and knowledge. Most business owners and managers in Nigeria and other developing nations lack the basic managerial skills such as planning, organizing, direction, and control to properly manage their resources. Most of them are not educated. Most of them lack the basic quality. And so, because of that, you see that most businesses rarely survive. Most businesses go under because most managers, most owners don't have this basic knowledge. And they don't even want to bother to update or acquire this knowledge because of pride and other issues. Another very serious problem bedeviling businesses in Nigeria is inconsistent government policies. Lack of consistency in most government policies, especially with regard to our economic policies. And so when we talk about economic policies, we're talking about our monetary and fiscal policies are major challenges that are bedeviling businesses in Nigeria. We know periodically, that is every 4 years, we are likely to have change in government. And when there's this change in government, there's likelihood to be change in most of these policies. And so because most policies don't stay for some time, they affect the development, the establishment, and growth of businesses. And so this inconsistency in most of these policies, probably because of the change in government, is a major issue facing businesses. Furthermore, the different levels of government. We know we have 3 major levels of government in Nigeria: the federal, the state, and the local. And we also know, it is common knowledge, that the law made by the government at the center, that is the federal, should supersede other laws made by governments in the subunits, as the states and local. But that is not usually the case in our country. While the federal government makes its own law, the states or the local governments make laws that are contradictory or that are contradicting each other. And so this is a very serious problem. And so most businesses tend to be confused, and then it affects their performance, it affects how businesses are run, it affects how decisions are taken. And so the issue of changing government, as well as the different levels of government we have, is a serious challenge facing facing businesses in Nigeria. Another major issue that is bedeviling most businesses in Nigeria in contemporary time is the case of high insecurity and crime. Businesses can only thrive in relatively secured environment and society. Thus, the recent increase in insecurity across the different locations of our dear country is a serious and major challenge that businesses are struggling to survive within. Some businesses are going under as a result of increase in terrorist attacks, herders farmers crisis, banditry, unknown government attacks, as well as other political, tribal or ethno and religious crises. Now, we all know the current security situation in our country. So many crises here and there. Attacks, tribal, religious, political. And so this is a major challenge, because if the society is not relatively secured, there is no way businesses can be established. There is no way businesses can be stable. There is no way businesses can survive. There is no way businesses can grow, not to talk of expand. And so the high rate of insecurity across the different geopolitical zones of our nation is a major challenge to the survival and growth of these businesses. Another major challenge facing or bedeviling businesses in Nigeria is the issue of competition. As we all know, there's rarely a monopoly in our contemporary society as a result of the advancement in the technological environment. We know, because of the advancement in technological environment, SMEs can now challenge major businesses. And thus, in recent times, all forms and sizes of business from anywhere around the globe are competitors. Thus, businesses in developing economies like Nigeria are at a disadvantage in relation to their contemporaries in advanced economies, simply because the basic facilities that are needed to enhance competition is not available in most of these developing economies like Nigeria. And so the case of competition places most businesses in developing economies like Nigeria at major disadvantage. Lack of access to relevant information and data. This is another very serious problem. We all know that businesses depend on information. Businesses depend on data to take relevant and strategic decisions. Thus, the lack of access to this information, this data, is a serious problem. Even with the improvement in the technological environment, an increase in access to telecommunicational facilities, most businesses in Nigeria still have limited access to relevant information and data because, one, the owners and managers lack the basic wherewithal to access these remotely. That is, most business owners, just as individuals, have phones with data, with applications that they should be able to access this information and data, but they don't know how to go about it. They lack the basic knowledge to access this relevant information, this relevant data that would help them take strategic decisions that will place them in good standing. While the relevant government agencies such as the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, the Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, etc., rarely publish reliable data and information. Most of these government agencies were actually established to provide businesses and other members of the public with useful data that should enable them take decisions. But what we have experienced in most recent times is that most reports published by most of these agencies are doctored probably to favor those in government, to put them in good light, and that is damaging to businesses. Thus, most information, most data put forward by most of these government agencies are not reliable. Then, some other problems that are common and that bedevil businesses in Nigeria include the high rate of corruption. We know that corruption is very, very high in Nigeria. It is almost in every facet of our lives. And so the business is not an exception. And so the issue of corruption is a major challenge that faces businesses in Nigeria. Similarly, the issue of lack of trust. Nobody trusts anyone anymore, maybe due to the level of corruption. And so most businesses have employees that are terribly corrupt. And so the owner and the management have little or no trust on the employee or even co-owners. And this is a major challenge to the growth of businesses in Nigeria. Another major issue that a lot of people may overlook is the issue of pride. Most owners take delight in saying, I am the owner of the business, even when the business is not doing well, and they need to consult experts for professional knowledge and advice that will help grow this business. They will rather sit and see the business go under instead of consulting experts and consultants that will help them put the business in sound, in good footing. Furthermore, the issue of impatience. Most business owners, most managers are highly impatient, especially in Nigeria. Most investors feel as soon as they invest, they should start making profit. Unknown to them that a businessman, one of the qualities that a businessman must possess is patience. You need to be patient with your investment because after investing, it will take a little while before the business begins to make profit. By and large, during this session, we have been able to itemize and explain a few problems or some problems that are bedeviling businesses in Nigeria. Thank you.